Global AI factories and telecommunications edge networks are expanding at an intense, simultaneous rate. Every day, facilities plug in thousands of new processing units and run vast, interconnected data fabrics to keep up with surging demand. But scaling systems hit a mathematical breaking point, the curse of dimensionality. The sheer volume of state variables, packet loss, thermal states, becomes exponentially large, making real-time tracking impossible. Forced to rely on reactive heuristics, operators suffer stranded compute and destructive network microbursts. Facilities spend billions on state-of-the-art accelerators, high-bandwidth memory, and storage arrays. If those components cannot communicate efficiently because the underlying network is congested, the investment in that hardware yields little return. The primary roadblock to scaling AI operations safely and economically is not a lack of processing power. It is the absence of a predictive coordination function, a layer that can see the entire fabric and route data before bottlenecks form. The Predictive Tensor Control Plane, or PTCP, provides this missing coordination layer. Instead of viewing a data fabric as static cables, PTCP calculates an adaptive geometric landscape. Variables like trust scores, queue pressure, and jitter mathematically determine the network bond. High jitter or low trust literally lengthens the path, transforming the network into a topographic map. The holographic routing model demonstrates this operational result. PTCP senses the curvature of emerging bottlenecks in the system's probability state and bends traffic along predictive geodesics. Data routes smoothly around high-friction areas before any physical congestion ever materializes. Deploying this capability does not require tearing out existing infrastructure. PTCP operates as a software overlay, integrating directly with current Broadcom, NVIDIA, or Cisco switches. By converting raw network telemetry into predictive information geometry, PTCP transforms a reactive plumbing system into a self-optimizing engine. It ensures that high-performance hardware actually receives the data it was built to process. The coordination gap that limits an AI factory also threatens the wider world of critical civil and defense infrastructure. This is the trusted mission fabric. As shown in the diagram, national security relies on a highly interdependent web of systems. Communications, energy, transport, and water infrastructure form the foundation that powers military sea, land, air, and space domains. This deep integration exposes a unique vulnerability. Cyber attacks often exploit valid accounts and living off the land techniques to move laterally from standard IT networks directly into operational technology, or OT. Once there, they can disrupt process controllers and protective relays, threatening cascading physical failures across the grid. Defending this macro system requires a platform capable of seeing structural dependencies across all interconnected domains, rather than relying on isolated security alerts that miss the broader context. PTCP's topology-native security identifies zero-day attacks without waiting for signatures. It recognizes a cyber attack as a sharp topological defect warping the network's geometry. Instantly, PTCP throws a quarantine envelope around the anomaly, isolating compromised nodes to preserve the broader grid. Autonomous action requires strict guardrails, outlined here in PTCP's bounded actuation control loop. The system operates within a strict mathematical policy envelope that limits its blast radius, ensuring autonomous rerouting cannot cause a whiplash effect or drop essential services. While the software rapidly contains the threat and generates signed evidence bundles, it does not replace human judgment. The ultimate authority over critical systems, safety shutdowns, and service restoration remains entirely with human incident command. Society's most vulnerable infrastructure can now survive novel attacks at machine speed, isolating threats instantly without surrendering legal or safety controls to an AI. Beyond the data center and the power grid, this architecture scales to the furthest limits of the network, military operations and forward-deployed base defense. Consider a high-stress edge scenario. A forward base detects a massive, sudden influx of sensor data, pointing to an incoming drone swarm. In standard networks, this spike in traffic leads to immediate physical congestion. Essential command traffic drops, and the deluge of unprioritized data creates severe alert fatigue, blinding security forces right when they need clarity the most. At the tactical edge, a congested network is a weaponized disruption. It directly degrades mission survivability and limits a commander's ability to respond. Deploying the PTCP SARA-High model directly at edge hardware, like data processing units, places the intelligence right next to the physical sensors. It classifies and prioritizes traffic, filtering the chaotic noise before it can choke the network. This delivers two precise outcomes. Security forces receive ranked, actionable threat tracks to maintain custody of the airspace, while investigative units simultaneously receive an unalterable, cryptographically signed chain of evidence for post-event reconstruction. Even during severe sensor overload or a cyber-physical attack, PTCP ensures that essential data flows remain open and the mission continues without disruption. This marks a practical shift in how infrastructure is managed over the long term. This graphic contrasts traditional, static networking with the adaptive geometry of the PTCP TNQG model. Instead of relying on manual rules and fragmented security tasks, networks are becoming predictive, unified, and self-correcting. This mathematical framework scales universally. The exact same laws of optimized information that manage the density of a massive AI compute core are used to stabilize the chaotic environment of the battlefield edge. By translating raw data into predictive geometry, PTCP ensures that AI facilities operate at full capacity, critical infrastructure holds steady under attack, and the mission survives.